Hey guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about everyday carry, some considerations you should make when you're deciding what weapon system to carry, depending upon what the activity and or the mission set is that you're out doing. We'll go a little bit into some equipment considerations, some cost considerations, spots that maybe you can get away with cutting corners on, and spots where you definitely just spend that extra bit of money to make sure that what you're putting in your pockets is going to achieve that mission set. I'm going to go over 3, maybe 4 different options that I carry on a day-to-day basis depending upon what I'm doing, and I'll kind of explain the why behind why I go with these systems and talk a little bit about some of the product that I'm using so you guys can learn from the mounds of gear that I have purchased and hopefully find something that works well for your mission set. So we're going to jump into it. We'll talk in depth about a few different things, and hopefully I can help you out when you're looking to make your next purchase. So stand by. All right, guys, the first setup we're going to talk about is I have to run to the gas station gun. I have to drop the kids off at daycare. In my professional life, this is something I carry from my car up to my office. If I go to get lunch, something like that. This is the self-defense gun, not the I want to get in a gunfight gun. So let's jump into what the first setup is going to be. So the first setup is going to be Glock 43. I got a front sight Ameriglow on it. Nothing crazy, nothing, no optic on this. This is just purely going to be my, if I have to defend myself, if I have to defend my kiddos, that kind of setup. So a friend of mine figured out he could stipple, and as a gag gift, he was making a gift for our sergeant and realized, oh, look what I can do, so I had him stipple my gun for me. Not a fancy holster, just a simple blade tech. Once again, this is not something I'm going to spend a fortune on for something that I'm not going to carry a ton. This gets the job done. This is an inside the waistband carry for me, and I carry it on the small of my back. One thing I did change about it, so those of you who have the 43 know that you have a 6+1 magazine capacity. I went ahead and I picked up the Shield Arms magazines. So they cut out the polymer in the Glock magazine, and they use just the metal component there, and they're able to give you an increased magazine capacity, so you can get an 8+1 magazine capacity, give you a few extra rounds. So I bumped up to that to give myself a few extra rounds for a little bit of comfort, because if you know, 6 rounds goes quick in a gunfight. So to complement that, for my reload, I have another one of those Shield Arms magazines. And to carry this, you don't want it loose flowing in your pocket. You want it someplace where magazine management makes sense. You're going to put it somewhere where you're going to be able to retrieve it, where you can train, where you're going to reach for it every single time. I find that it can be a little bit difficult to run some type of mounted system on your belt and be comfortable in everyday life and not look like a total psychopath. So what I did is I went and picked up a Neo magazine retention system. So that's what you're looking at right there. It's a magnetic magazine retention system that you can actually clip right onto your pocket, and this thing sits inside of your pocket instead of having that magazine tucked up underneath your clothes along with your firearm. So it offers you a little bit more concealment and a little bit more comfort. And this thing will work on damn near any magazine, to include a normal Glock magazine. So the Neo, I would highly recommend getting this. And if you do go with the Neo Mag, I would recommend you get the extended magazine version. So this thing's going to sit even deeper in your pocket. But I went with the traditional setup. But if you get the extended version, it'll hide this magazine a little bit better in your pocket. So this is an area that I'm going to skimp on the next go around here. So the knife that I run with this setup is just a cheapo. It's a Tekto, Tekto auto knife. So something cheap. I had a nicer one that I actually misplaced and went to go replace it, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to spend the money again. I'm just going to buy something cheap. So this is just a little cheap knockoff made in China. Got a little simple window brake, simple belt and or pocket hook, and it's just a little cheapo auto knife. But this is my everyday, if I want to be low pro, just so I have something in my pocket, I'm running this guy. Then once again, I know mission set wise, this is to get me from A to B quickly. This is not for an extended period in the field or anything like that. So the next setup that I run, I basically jump straight to a full-size handgun at that point. So I'm running a Gen 5 Glock 17 with the SCS Hollow Sun optic. and TLR light. All I did to this thing, besides throw an optic on it and a light on it, I tossed a Talon grip tape on it, just to offer me that little bit of extra grip, whether it's hot out, I'm wearing gloves, it's cold out, it's raining, whatever. And then I tossed on also a raised slide release, and it's a larger / raised slide release. For me, when I grip my handgun, I ride high with my palm near the slide, and I was having issues of not getting slide lock, so that really helped me out there, and that's made by Kegelworks. So a simple addition, and it's an ambi setup where you're going to get it on both sides. So this is going to be my go-to for duty carry and also concealed carry on duty. And then say if I'm going to be going to Walmart, if I'm going to be going to the movies, anything of that nature, I'm going to be carrying a full-size handgun with me with a light on it for obvious reasons. And then I go to my RDS system just for increased accuracy and increased awareness, you know, in an area where you're going to have multiple individuals at. This is just a faster weapon system. If you run a red dot, you know what I'm talking about. So I carry that system inside of my Insane Kydex Creations inside the waistband holster. I found this site online. Once again, it's Insane Kydex Creations. I wasn't sure when I found it because the site looked a little bit messy, but I thought I'd give them a shot, and I've been super impressed with it. That being said, I had a friend of mine, he bought one from them the other day, and he had his clip completely break off, so the Kydex snapped right underneath his clip and broke his holster, and he'd only had it about a week or so. He appendix carries, so I'm not sure if the added stress of appendix carries would have busted it, but I've had no issues with it. I made slight modification because I added my RDS, my red dot sight, after I had purchased this, so I just took a quick Dremel to it, and we lopped it off and gave myself a little bit more room to run that versus buying another one. I've had no issues with it, and they also gave him a full refund. All I had to do is pay the shipping for a new holster to come out to him. You can pick whatever kind of skin you want on this. If you send them a picture of yourself, they'll put a picture of you on your holster. So Insane Kydex Creation, guys. It was quick shipping, ton of different designs. Whatever gun you carry, whatever light system you have on it, whatever red dot you have on it, they can build you a holster, and they do it in a timely fashion and does not break the bank. Very impressed with this so far. So along with that, kind of my go-to everyday carry for a knife is my Emerson CQC 78W. So this is just a smaller pocket knife, folding pocket knife that I've had for going on 7 years now. You guys see the hook right up there? That's when it's in your pocket. It's designed to catch on that hook as you remove it from your pocket and flip the blade open, which it does in a pretty unique fashion. This knife has been extremely durable. I've had no issues. This is like one of the few things that I've had in my professional career that has remained with me since day one. Emerson makes it quite the blade. This thing's held its, it's held its sharpness. Haven't really had to mess with it much, and it has certainly seen some action at work from various different types of, implements. So I enjoy it. It's expensive. This one's probably one of the more expensive ones I do have, but worth every penny. And this was, I'll have to, full disclosure, a gift. I did have an issue with the clip getting bent when I got in and out of a car, caught the clip on a seat, bent it, and I was able to pop it off, bend it back, and I've not had any issues yet. So yeah, once again, the Emerson CQC78W. Unique name. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. I think you'd come up with a better name. That's the name I know it as, but pretty good. And I'm using that same Neomag when I rock the full magazine. So just your typical standard Glock 17 magazine. I'm going to run the same exact thing, that Neo magazine retention system. And once again, I know it's a Glock mag. There is metal inside of it. It's going to hold just fine. I've had no issues with it. You can hide a full-size Glock magazine right in your pocket. So my kind of third option is if I'm at home and I don't want to carry my duty gun, but I do want something that's a little bit heavier duty than my 43, giving me a higher round capacity. Maybe I'm going to run to Walmart. Maybe I'm going to go on a road trip and I want something with me that's going to get the job done. Then I'm going to go to my Gen 5 MOS cut Glock 19. I'm just rocking a Bravo concealment. Once again, nothing crazy on this. I'm not going to go spend a shitload of money for something that sits in the safe half the time, but inside the waistband Bravo concealment holster. I've had no issues with it. It's cheap. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I'm sure everybody should talk shit on them, but it does the job for me. So I'm not going to go, break the bank on 15 different holsters that I only carry so many times. So this is kind of my intermediate. If I know I'm going to be going on a trip and I don't want to bring a duty gun, it's something that I'll toss in my rig when I'm going to go hunting, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the go-to there. And a couple other options with that. Generally speaking, when I hit the road, I toss in my just a simple little K-bar, angled blade, fixed blade K-bar. I can also carry this inside the waistband, and just a simple little knife that I throw in with me when I'm on the road especially. When I'm running around the yard, doing things in the yard, I'm not always carrying a gun, but you should always have something on you, in my opinion. So one of my first little Kydex projects that I did was this Columbia River knife and tool setups. So I just busted out this very simple Kydex retention system for this, and this is something I'll literally just throw in my basketball shorts, whatever I'm wearing, have in my pocket in case you got to cut something in the backyard when you're doing lawn work, whatever it may be. So this is something that I just toss in, so I always have something on me when I'm working lawn work. Every now and then I'll have it in my back pocket as well. So something simple, something small, just so you're not sitting naked, not wearing anything. So there's definitely times when you're going to find yourselves in places where you're not in America and you can't legally carry a gun. So uniquely enough, you still want to protect yourself, and you got to find some way to do it. So I had to cross that river when I went on a trip to Central America, but as paranoid as I am, which I'm sure most of you are as well, I wanted to have something with me. So my resolution of that problem was a large fixed blade knife. So if you're planning on traveling someplace where you cannot carry a firearm, that's a great option to have. If you look up the right setup, if you build the right setup, you can have a nice inside the waistband high-rise knife system on you, to where when you're walking down the beach in whatever beautiful country you're in, it's a little bit harder to become a victim. Sure, it's not a firearm, but it's better than nothing, right? So this is what I went with for that system. So this is called the Clever Girl. It's made by Columbia River Knife and Tool again, and uniquely enough, I think most of you have heard the term Clever Girl before, and you know where that comes from, right? Looks like that Velociraptor claw. So this thing right here it's a heavy duty knife, and holding it in my hand, you can tell that it's got some girth to it. It's going to be strong. It's not going to break if I need it to perform in the field. So this is something that I was carrying when I was not in America, out of the borders of where I'm not allowed to carry a firearm. So the sheath for it is a pretty heavy duty sheath as well, and it's fairly versatile. It'll give you options on how you can mount your retention system, which is this belt clip in the back side here. So it gives you a couple different options. It'll hook to your traditional 1-inch belt, no problem, and you can actually adjust that to make it fit up to a 2-inch belt as well. But I can actually take that mounting clip and I can move it higher or lower. I can angle it depending upon how I want to carry it. But this is something I was just hooking to the left side of my pants, up high underneath my shirt, so where if I did run into an issue, I at least had something on me. So big fan of always having something on your person. So those are the many different systems that I run, and that's just some of the different combinations that I run. It's fun to play with it, try out different things. Throw the Glock 21 on when it's winter and you're able to hide that thing. So definitely play with it, guys. See what works best for you. Keep exploring options. Save some money where you can save some money, and spend the money where you really need to. So that's about it, guys. If you have any questions about your everyday carry, if you want to tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing for everyday carry compared to what I'm doing, please do. Just remember that minimal amount of rounds it's not going to win you a gunfight. It's going to get you out of trouble, but you're certainly not going to be winning a gunfight. So bring a gun with you that has those maximum amount of rounds as possible. Be able to return fire, be able to move, be able to protect your loved ones, and not bring a gun that carries 6 rounds to a gunfight. Because like I said, if you know, 6 rounds goes really quick in a matter of seconds in a gunfight. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Take care. Have a good day.